everyone. I welcome you all to today's session. My name is Afreen Mam and I am your PPB and IEIFS educator. Hello, everyone. Good noon, good afternoon, everyone. How are you all? How are your Sunday going on? Everyone, hi guys. So, today is appraisal and assessment of credit facility. Today, we are going to discuss a short overview of this chapter. Okay, so let's start discussing this chapter. First of all, if we talk about the credit appraisal, sorry, what is credit appraisal? So, credit appraisal is actually the critical evaluation of the loan application that is received by a bank, whether to accept the loan request from the borrower or to reject. The critical evaluation of this is known as the credit appraisal. The primary objective of this credit appraisal is the safety and liquidity of the fund, and obviously to have profitability from the credit extended. The essence of the credit appraisal is measure the risk that is inherent in the proposal. So whatever the loan request that a bank is receiving, what is the risk that is already inherent in it, the assessment of that is known as the credit appraisal. This involves various steps. For example, first the borrower identification and verification is need to be checked. Then there should be assessing of the business of the borrower so that it can be judged that whether they are able to repay back the loans or not. Second, there should be understanding the credit requirement, for what purpose the borrower is asking for the loan. Second, due diligence report, then the complete profile of the customer who is asking for the loan is checked. Selecting appropriate scheme to which the bank is lending to that borrower, and lastly finalizing all the terms and condition of this credit appraisal or for the loan. So this is known as the credit appraisal. Next, if we are talking about the techniques of the credit appraisal, for first is validation of the proposal. First, there is the validation of the proposal that need to be done from bank side. Either they can accept the proposal or reject the proposal by analyzing the risk and profile of the customer. How it can be done? First of all, you should verify and validate the information that is provided by the applicant. This is very necessary. Then the information should be cross verified with the supporting document. Field information should be necessary. Checking that the required approval and licenses is essential. Lastly, verification of applicant's capacity to borrow and authority to request a loan is necessary. If you're analyzing all these steps, then you are in the process of validating the proposal. Means you have accepted the proposal. How you can accept the proposal? By checking out the verification, validation, cross checking with the original documentation and evidences, assessment of the business and the repayment opportunities, everything. So first there is the validity or validation of the proposal. Second, credit risk. So credit risk is defined as the possibility of the borrowers to default. Obviously, there is a credit risk. And what is credit risk? Credit risk is the actually the probability that whether the borrower defaults on its loan or not. Okay. Next, if we talk about the credit risk rating, so based on the credit risk and evaluation of the customer profile, the profile has been rated, and this rating is a very important agenda for either acceptance of the loan request or the rejection of the loan request. Now, what is the criteria for the decision? First of all, credit score is the primary thing. Whenever you are going for the loan, whenever you want any loans from the bank, first of all, you need what? You need your credit score to be top notch. So first thing is the credit rating of the applicant is must. Second, the lender will also check if the purpose of the loan fits with the credit policy of the banks or not. Third, the lender should check that if they are going to lend in this field, they wouldn't breach the exposure limit of the bank. because the bank has certain exposure limit for certain categories, because the bank wants to diversify their risk and they shouldn't want to lend only in one category for the risk, and that's why there should be every limit of the exposure. So if the bank is lending loan to the customer, then they should check that lending this loan wouldn't breach any of the limit that is given for this category. So this is the criteria for the decision. Clear? Now, aspects of appraisal. So there are 7 C's which I have already discussed with you in the last session, and we have known that there is 4 cardinal parameters of the lending. Now, what are these 4 parameters? First of all, you should ensure the credit worthiness of the borrower, is they are able to what, to repay your loans or not. Second, you should first of all consider the purpose of the loan. You shouldn't be lending only because the customer is asking. You should be the loan given, or for if you are giving loan, the purpose of that should be specified. Verification should be done, and lastly, assessing the security and collateral. And now, what are the 7 C's which I have already told you? Credit worthiness, character, capacity, capital, collateral, condition, and cash flows. These are the 7 C's of appraisal. It is very important. Okay, next. Now, there are 2 types of capital which is needed by a bank or by anyone, by any corporate or industries or business. There are 2 type of capital which is actually needed. First, there is a fixed capital requirement, and second, there is a working capital requirement. Fixed capital requirement is actually for purchasing of certain assets or building of certain asset. Whereas if you want to fulfill your daily activities, the daily routine activities, for managing out your daily routine activities, there is the working capital. Now, working capital, this is actually divided into 2 parts, gross and net working capital. Gross working capital is actually the total capital that is the current asset of the enterprises. So whatever you have invested in the current asset of the company, that is your working capital. Current assets are those which are actually tangible movable asset that can be recoverable in cash or turned during operating cycle not exceeding that 1 year. So if you are investing in any of the current asset, then this is known as the gross working capital. Net working capital is when the current assets is subtracted from the current liability, then it is known as the net working capital. These are 2 very important things: gross working capital and net working capital. The total current asset is the gross working capital. If we subtract current asset with the current liability, it is known as the net working capital. Next, now what are the components of the working capital? The working capital can be utilized in purchasing of the raw material, stock in process, finished good in store and transit, consumable store, and other expenses. This is the complete working cycle. There is a cash. Cash is converted to a raw material which is work in progress. It is converted into the finished product, then it is sold for to the debtor. Then again there is a cash. This is whole this whole is known as the operating cycle. Clear? And lastly, if we talk about the term loan, a term loan is actually for the acquisition of some asset like land, building, plant and machinery, renovation, etc. When we are talking about the term loan is for a long period of time, say 3 to 10 years. And therefore, the risk that is involved in the term loan is always greater than the working capital finance. Clear? So, this is a very short overview of the chapter. Now, if you want to have the full detail of the chapter, means everything you want to learn completely and in depth, you can purchase the super elite subscription all in one plan, in which you will get different subjects under one umbrella and different courses under one umbrella, all the downloads and PDFs and everything test that is given to you. These are all the courses in which you will get the super elite subscription. So if you are having a super elite subscription, you will have the crash plus crackers batch, the complete foundation batch, and master batches. Every batch will be provided to you. Lastly, if we talk about the current subscription rate, so there is a complete 48% off that is going on a JAIIB and CAIIB subscription, and you can use this code SELLUP. And if you are using this code, you will get a 48% off, and this offer will end on 27th of August. Okay, so thank you so much for guys for joining this session. If you like this session, please like and share the video and press the bell notification icon and subscribe to the channel. Thank you so much. Thank you. Take care, everyone. Bye bye, guys. Take care. Thank you so much. Bye, everyone. Take care.